Trench's news made another appearance in the court proceedings recently. This time around, the legal representatives from Old Block had the opportunity to cross-examine him extensively. Their primary goal seemed to be to undermine his credibility, aiming to portray him as an untrustworthy individual. It was evident that they wanted to scrutinize his statements and actions to depict him as a liar. The emphasis during the cross-examination was to question Trench's news reliability by closely examining his past actions and statements. There was a strong effort to discredit his testimony by pointing out inconsistencies or contradictions in his past behavior and statements. The significance of this event was highlighted in a call to action within a video update, urging viewers to like and share the content to ensure wider visibility. According to reliable sources, Trench's news was present in the courtroom and was subjected to rigorous questioning by the Old Block lawyers. The intention behind this scrutiny was clear: to cast doubt on the credibility of Trench's news and the information he provided while testifying. The legal team representing Old Block seemed focused on digging into Trench's news past social media posts and other public statements to challenge the accuracy and truthfulness of his current testimony. This strategy was a strong attempt to undermine his credibility in front of the court and the public. In essence, the recent court session involving Trench's news was pivotal, as it marked an opportunity for the opposing legal team to interrogate his testimony thoroughly, aiming to portray him as an unreliable witness. This development sparked significant interest among followers, urging them to engage with the content to ensure broader visibility of the ongoing legal proceedings involving Trench's news. The defense attorney seized upon this response and referenced a specific video from Trace News' YouTube channel where Trace had announced being in front of a federal court building. When questioned about the authenticity of this video, whether it portrayed factual events or was purely for entertainment, Trench News categorized it as entertainment. The attorney then pressed Trace to identify the exact location depicted in the video, specifically asking about the federal courthouse. Trace News clarified that the location in the video was a replica or a prop of a federal courthouse, indicating that it was a publicly accessible spot available for anyone to use. These authorities seemed particularly interested in his YouTube content and referenced various interviews he participated in across different platforms. The discussions during the legal proceedings delved into Trench's news online presence, highlighting his pursuit of attention and fame through his videos and interviews. The prosecutors painted a picture of Trench's news as someone seeking fleeting moments of fame, emphasizing that his motivations for involvement were driven by a desire for public recognition. They sought to undermine his credibility by portraying him as an individual disconnected from the Old Block community. They argued that although he might have resided in the area briefly, he wasn't a significant figure in the community, with several individuals involved in the case allegedly not having any prior acquaintance with him. The prosecution's narrative aimed to distance Trench's news from any meaningful association with the Old Block neighborhood. They attempted to cast doubt on his knowledge of the community and its inhabitants, claiming that several people involved in the case had never encountered or interacted with him before. They reportedly presented surveillance footage to reinforce their stance, suggesting that Trench's news lacked substantial familiarity with the individuals and events central to the case. As the questioning persisted, there were accounts of Trench's news becoming visibly frustrated and exhibiting signs of disrespect while on the witness stand. His demeanor seemed to change, displaying a level of irritation as the prosecution's portrayal continued, indicating his discomfort and possible dissatisfaction with how he was being characterized during the proceedings. It appears that there's a significant conflict emerging in the courtroom, with prosecutors and lawyers representing Old Block seemingly at odds with Trench's news. The discussions during the proceedings focused on painting Trench's news as an individual primarily motivated by financial gain rather than genuine involvement or concern for the case. The prosecution and Old Block lawyers framed Trench's news as someone solely interested in monetary benefits rather than being driven by a desire to assist in the case involving Duck. They emphasized that among various bloggers and entertainers on YouTube, Trench's news was singled out as someone particularly focused on profiting from the situation, rather than using his platform to aid in the pursuit of justice or truth. Their portrayal sought to establish Trench's news as an individual who saw this situation as a lucrative opportunity rather than a chance to contribute positively or help clarify the circumstances surrounding Duck's case. This narrative intended to highlight his alleged pursuit of financial gain over any genuine concern for the case or the individuals involved. While the details surrounding the ongoing courtroom proceedings remain somewhat limited, it's evident that Trench's news continued his presence in the courtroom, engaging in multiple rounds of questioning or discussions. However, the specifics of these exchanges are yet to be fully disclosed. The situation seems to be escalating, with conflicting viewpoints and narratives being presented by both sides, highlighting the contentious nature of the legal proceedings involving Trench's news. They attempted to discredit Trench's news by alleging that he lacked genuine familiarity with the individuals from O Block. According to their claims, he was depicted as an outsider who saw an opportunity to profit rather than being genuinely connected to the community. Furthermore, they asserted that there was a period when Trench's news seemingly disappeared, leaving them unaware of his whereabouts until his reappearance. They suggested that during this absence, he devised a plan to secure more financial gains, insinuating that he aimed to maximize his earnings from the federal authorities beyond what might have been initially agreed upon. This depiction painted Trench's news as someone who strategically sought to extend his financial benefits from his involvement in the case. The defense attorney, representing T. Carlo, persistently pushed Tren for details. This attorney, belonging to T. Carlo's defense team, consistently probed Tren for specifics. Despite Tren's reluctance to divulge further information about the location, the defense attorney insisted on knowing where this prop location was situated, emphasizing that if it was a publicly accessible spot, Tren should disclose it. When Tren declined to answer, stating he wouldn't provide the information, T. Carlo's attorney reacted by informing the judge that if Tren didn't want to answer, the judge should instruct him not to answer or urge him to give a response. This prompted the judge to intervene, essentially prompting Tren to give an answer, creating an atmosphere where it seemed as though there was an expectation for him to comply. Consequently, Tren eventually mentioned the location as West Bumble, causing a reaction from everyone present. It seemed like a moment of comic relief, with people reacting amusingly to the unexpected nature of the response. The attorney even requested Tren to repeat the location into the microphone, and when Tren reiterated West Bumble, it elicited laughter from the audience, making the situation rather comical despite the seriousness of the court proceedings. It sounds like quite the eventful session in court. When Tren mentioned the location as West Bumble, it seemingly caused a stir, leading to a break in the proceedings. Interestingly, despite someone cursing at Tren during the incident, the judge didn't intervene or reprimand them for the outburst, allowing the break to occur. After the break, the questioning continued, focusing on whether Trench's had a production crew assisting in shooting his videos. Trench's responded negatively, stating that his wife handles the video reports. However, this response led the attorney to bring up an alleged interaction where Trench's supposedly paid someone $1 to come and assist in creating a report. This revelation seemed to agitate Trench's, and he reacted strongly, expressing frustration and implying that he warned the attorney of a potential physical altercation. This reaction drew laughter from those present in court, and someone referred to as J-Main made a reference that sparked more amusement. Following this, the attorney proceeded to ask Tren about the meaning of whooping, a term Trench's had used. Trench's attempted to explain that whooping might signify someone lying or exaggerating a story. However, despite this explanation, the true meaning or context of the term remained ambiguous, leading to a lighthearted moment in the court where everyone attempted to understand the definition. As for the term whooping, while Trench's tried to define it, the actual meaning remained unclear. From your perspective, you're not sure about its accurate definition either, besides it possibly being a cereal that tastes similar to Trix. The whole exchange regarding the term added a touch of humor to the proceedings, with everyone attempting to decipher its meaning, albeit without much success. It seems like the conversation at court shifted to questioning Trench's news about specific locations like Parkway in Newtown and O Block, asking if he had been to any meetings or witnessed any financial transactions in those areas. Trench's news denied attending any meetings or observing payments at O Block, stating that if he hadn't been to a meeting, he couldn't have witnessed any dues being paid. Similarly, when asked about T. Carlos acquiring a chain, Trench's news claimed not to have seen anyone obtaining any medallions. The line of questioning then turned towards Trench's recent activities on his YouTube page, particularly whether he had discussed the trial. Trench's response indicated that he had spoken about the case 5 days prior. However, when the defense attorney reminded him that discussing the case was prohibited in court, Trench's news justified it by mentioning that the information was public knowledge because news reporters were present during the trial. Following Trench's cross-examination, the next person on the stand was Kenny Mack. Unfortunately, the details about Kenny Mack's lawyer starting the cross-examination were interrupted, and it seems like there was a pause in the conversation, perhaps a break or a momentary pause in the court proceedings. In the court session, Trench's news was questioned about Mr. Robinson and his affiliation with Dipset. He confirmed Mr. Robinson's association with Dipset when asked. The attorneys then inquired whether he had made similar statements about Mr. Robinson on other YouTube channels during interviews, to which Trench's news responded affirmatively. Specifically referencing an interview he had with Ghetto Report during the summer, Trench's news confirmed mentioning Mr. Robinson in that interview. The attorneys proceeded to play a video where Trench's news claimed Kenny Mack, in 2014 while incarcerated, helped him in a conflict against some adversaries in jail who attempted to attack him. Following this video, the attorney directly questioned whether Kenny Mack, from the 71st group called Dipset, was associated with the Gangster Disciples, GD, to which Trench's news answered in the affirmative. Then, the court was adjourned temporarily, allowing the jury and the witness to step back. During this break, a video was shown to the court where Trench's news mentioned that Kenny Mack belonged to Dipset and not O Block. However, despite this information, the judge maintained that Kenny Mack's affiliation was still considered O Block, stating that hearsay wasn't enough evidence to disprove someone's gang affiliation. Additionally, another video was presented showing Trench's news displaying a firearm on DJV's platform. The court session appeared to focus on these videos and statements made by Trench's news regarding affiliations and incidents involving Kenny Mack, ultimately addressing the complexity of proving or disproving gang affiliations based solely on hearsay or statements without substantial evidence. In the court session, after the break, Trench's news was questioned about a video where he appeared to display a gun on DJV's platform. When confronted about the video, he dismissed it as entertainment. Following this line of questioning, Kenny Mack's lawyer concluded her cross-examination. The state then took over and began their cross-examination of Trench's news. They asked if he currently resided outside of Chicago, to which he confirmed. The state also inquired about his affiliation with the FBI, stating that they had hired and compensated him. Trench's news confirmed this and proceeded to answer their questions. He explained that he wore a mask during his videos to demonstrate to children that masks could be used for reasons beyond criminal activities. When questioned about information circulating regarding his cooperation with the police, he mentioned dealing with online trolls and receiving threats, but indicated that as long as they didn't physically harm him, it didn't bother him. Trench's news claimed that he was at an O Block member's house in February 2012 when Cheryl was killed, mentioning it was the last time he was at O Block. When asked about the affiliation between Gangster Disciples, GDs, and Black Disciples, BDs, he confirmed that there was a period when they were aligned. Following Trench's testimony, the next witness to take the stand was Terrence Garrett, a part of the security team for Parkway Gardens. He confirmed working in Parkway from 2014 to January 2021 as a field supervisor in the security department. Terrence Garrett mentioned that initially, he patrolled the units to ensure safety and later was promoted to a dispatcher, responsible for monitoring security footage. He handled both roles when there was a shortage of staff. By 2018, he became a site supervisor. In August 2020, he was dressed in his regular work security uniform and was armed during his duties. He worked evening shifts from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. and sometimes from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. He recalled monitoring security cameras on the day of FBG Duck's murder and confirmed the presence of cameras in various areas of Parkway Gardens, such as parking lots, gates, stairways, and entrances. When shown a video of the O Block parking lot, Terrence confirmed awareness of it. He affirmed that each camera had different views and settings, including motion activation, on the day of the murder in August 2020. Regarding the security footage, Terrence stated that no one had access to edit or alter it. He confirmed being approached by Officer Hooks on August 4, 2020, and reviewing footage together to provide information needed for the murder case. When asked about gang presence in the community, Terrence acknowledged awareness of their presence in the area. The security guard, who rose through the ranks to become the head of security, acknowledged the presence of gangs in the community when asked. He specifically mentioned the Black Disciples being prevalent in the area. When queried about the gang's identification, the security guard indicated that the Black Disciples were known as O-Block, a name derived from a resident who lived there and was killed. He was asked if he knew individuals like King Von for visiting O-Block or Devian Bennett for residing there and being associated with the area, to which the security guard confirmed his familiarity with them. Additionally, he identified King Von in a picture and stated that Von had been banned from O-Block due to illegal activities starting in early 2020, yet continued to visit despite the ban, even around the time of FBG Duck's murder. The security guard further confirmed his knowledge of other O-Block members and positively identified an individual named Lyons from a photo, acknowledging him as an O-Block member. He also stated that Lyons was a witness and had represented O-Block. When shown a picture of T. Carlos, the security guard stated he had seen him in Parkway Gardens. However, regarding whether T. Carlos was a member of O-Block, the information about his affiliation or membership wasn't explicitly confirmed in the provided text. This testimony, particularly from the security guard with extensive knowledge of the community and its members, appears to shed light on various individuals associated with O-Block and their activities, potentially carrying significant weight in the case.